go to Charlotte Goodwin and come back to questions about schools, and you, Adam. Thank you, Charlotte.
In 2010, our school was scheduled to be rebuilt under the Building Schools for Future programme. When that programme was withdrawn by the Conservative government, we lost £13.7 million of investment. What was your party do to bring about capital investment in school buildings?
I suppose to Chris initially.
It's a good question. The Building Schools for the Future programme was a great idea, but it was really badly implemented. Here in Staffordshire, we spent £4 million of public money, your folks' money, without a single brick being laid. Not a single penny of that money went into schools. Think how much £4 million is worth invested in this school and all the other secondary schools in town. I think the most important thing is to make sure that we've got a strong economy which can pay the taxes, which can invest in education. And we've said that we'll spend £590 million more than Labour will spend on education in the next 5 years, because we reckon we can, because we've built the economy to pay for it, and that money can go into schools. But it isn't just about bricks and mortar. You know, if you talk to head teachers, and I talk to a lot of head teachers and primary school head teachers as well, and they'll say, yes, investment in infrastructure is important, but shiny new schools do not necessarily make great pupil outcomes. You need to have enthusiastic teachers. You need to have head teachers with the power and the flexibility to spend money on their schools as they think best, and not some bureaucrat sitting up in an office in Stanford. You've got to make sure that you can find and employ and reward good teachers, so good teachers get more money, but also get rid, bluntly, of bad teachers, because you only have one chance at education. Those bad teachers have several chances, you might say, with every new cohort of kids. So I think it's a mixture of things. We've invested in a teacher training establishment to better train teachers, give head teachers more power and authority over the way they spend money. And we're going to make sure that we grow the economy so better investment in schools can be done. I think that's the way to ensure that we have a strong education system and service. It isn't simply investing money in shiny new schools. How important does that is?
Carol, obviously the government introduced BSF.
Yeah, just a quick answer to you. I mean, I was part of the team that was looking, I was on the cabinet at the time of Staffordshire County Council. When we were looking to put all this together, I was part of the team that was talking about what our plans were for Tamworth. And we were really proud in Tamworth that we were going to be the first part of Staffordshire that had building schools for the future. We had a whole district plan. We were looking at all sorts of things, even down to the change in the school year. So it wasn't just a case of the shiny new buildings, we were looking at the whole education system for Staffordshire, because of, as you'll be only too aware, you know, you've got land off onto the road, we have a different timetable to everyone else. So we were looking at, as we brought that in, for it to be a whole system. I was so disappointed when we then lost control of the county council and the government, and building schools for the future were one of the first things to go. Because despite people saying that it's just bricks and mortar, it was a bit more than that, because we'd got commitments in place that as we built our shiny new schools, it would be Tamworth workforce that were doing that. We were making a commitment in the plans that it would be local peoples who were getting those jobs. So that is then again about bringing, you know, industry here and providing jobs. I'm quite disturbed by Christopher keeps saying about a strong economy and about having people back in work. I have a bit of an issue with the figures that keep coming out about saying how many people are now working. I would like to say, and I've brought this up at County Council at different meetings that I go into there, because we have a plan put in front of us about how many people are now working, and that needs to be turned around for me, because I know the people I deal with on a daily basis. Sorry, this is going off schools, but it's important, about people who have been sanctioned on the job seekers allowance, who have come to the end of their 12 months and are the figures. And what I want to see is a proper figure about actually how many people are unemployed, not how many people who are not claiming benefit anymore. And to get a strong economy, people actually need to be employed, but they need to be employed in proper jobs. And that's where I was going with how your education goes, going down a route that brings you to a proper job. For us, what we're talking about at the moment, we're not talking about going back to the Building Schools for the Future programme, because that time's passed for the moment, and because of the state of the economy, it probably isn't a good time to bring it back. For us, it's more about putting proper qualified teachers in front of students, making sure that you get the best possible education. We've made commitments to only having class sizes of 30, 5, 6 and 7-year-olds. It's got to be about appropriate education at the moment. The other thing I would say, about the schools that were built in our time, and this is part of this thing here, is that, yes, we did increase our spending. The Labour Party, and, history shows us, we spent a lot of money. But when we came into government in 1997, hospitals and schools were crumbling. I know from my school at Heathfields, I was there from 80-something, I think, as a governor. We had holes in the roof. There were schools all over the country when Labour came into government that had holes in the roof. And, money has to be spent. And I won't apologise for the fact that we've got lots of facilities now that are newly built. They may have cost a lot of money, but we have to have the facilities. You have to have the proper equipment here. Your school is fabulous. It would have been nice if you could have had what we had planned for you, but your leadership team here have made the best of everything. And it's not all about buildings, but it would have been nice if we could have done that. And if we'd have had a little bit more time, who knows what might have happened.
Thanks, Christy. Do you want to-
Well, just on the point of where the funding comes from. Money can't just be magicked up from the magic money tree. It has to be, governments have to earn their money, and the way they do that is through taxation. You only tax if there are businesses and people out there with the wealth to be taxed. So you've got to create jobs and good jobs in order to create a strong economy that can pay for the services that we all want. Now, Carol says that, perhaps the figures don't seem to stack up. Maybe people haven't got those jobs. Let me give you one little anecdote. Every year, I run a jobs fair up at the college in Cross Street. Every year. At that jobs fair, there are exhibitors, people looking for workers. You've got JLR, you've got National Express, you've got John Lewis, you've got Tamworth Steel stockholders, you've got a variety of local and national employers, some in retail, some in services, some in engineering. At my last jobs fair, there were over 300 jobs available, and 176 people came to look for them. There were more jobs available in Tamworth than there were job seekers. So I just don't buy Carol's argument that there aren't jobs, or perhaps not very good jobs. There are lots of jobs about. There are more good jobs about, and we must make sure that you guys have got the skills to get them.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, can I just come back?
Oh, yes.
Thank you. Right. I've just remembered something that Crystal said about how, we haven't got many unemployed people in Tamworth anymore. And one of the big thanks we have for that is the Birch Coppice development just on the other side of the border. But those are not high-paid jobs. And the other side of saying that there's lots of people now in employment is it's not good for them if they're having to have their wages topped up by benefits. That's the other side of it. That's what we want to get away from. And that's why Labour are looking at making the living wage for everyone. We're trying to get that round all, at least around all our council. If you've got a wage where you're having to have your money topped up by benefits, also saying that isn't enough money for you to live on, and that's not fair for people. We need to make it that everybody has a job that, you know, they can be proud of, and it feeds their family, that they're not having to go to the government.
That's for Chris.
Well, I should give them the opportunity. Wage inflation, that's to say the amount of money people get every year above inflation, price inflation, is going up. It's about 2% above price inflation right now. Right now, of course, price inflation, what you pay for in the shops, is at 0%. That's never happened in living memory. So your costs are not going up, but your wages are. So people are becoming better off. And when Carol questions the sorts of jobs that are being created, let's just remember that in the last 3 years, the workforce of Jaguar Land Rover, those are skilled technical jobs just down the road, has doubled from 3,000 to 6,000. Apprentices are being taken on at BMW at Hams Hall, just down the road. All right? 80% of the jobs which have been created are full-time jobs. And 2/3 of the people who are on 0 hours contracts, flexible contracts, say that they're getting the hours that they want to earn the money that they receive. And of the entire workforce, only 2.7% of it are on 0 hours contracts. And as I say, most of those people say they're happy. So this myth that bad jobs are being created, or jobs without pay are being created, must not be allowed to take a hold. We have a growing and successful economy, and I trust that in a few years' time, you will all be part of it.
Thanks. I think we could go on and on with this one, couldn't we, with the differences there. Perhaps